What's happening, everyone? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I wanted to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down why Tesla's up like this, why it's seen some explosive moves to the upside, and what's going on with the share price moving forward. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks, and the offer ends very, very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to Tesla so far. So we got a nice double bottom like formation on Tesla. And Tesla was continuing to push very nicely today. Why did Tesla push like this? Because we got some bullish news that came out. First and foremost, Li Auto did relatively well with earnings, and we saw the share price soar. So that's leading to more optimism. On top of this, we got a lot of good news for the BYD investors and traders out there. Any people who are watching this would have seen that there's this news about the new model that came out that's going to be rivaling Ferrari. There's also been a lot of talk about their potential buyback that could be coming out. And there's been a lot of comparisons being made between them and Tesla this weekend. So right now, the entire EV sector is starting to bounce thanks to BYD and Li Auto's earnings. And there's been a lot of optimism about how, right now there's still buyers present, there's still improvements being made, and these companies could still achieve buybacks and things like that. So the whole EV sector is actually like pumping. That's why we're seeing stocks like NIO and Tesla pushing like this. On top of that, Tesla did have some good news involving their Model 3. I'll talk more about that in a later video. For now, I just want to mention that we got a nice double bottom like formation on Tesla. We're pushing up very nicely, and we've been holding up very, very well relative to like SPY and a couple of other tickers. SPY is showing some weakness. The QQQ is looking not super weak, but not super strong, kind of in the middle, right? Nvidia is like not as strong as before. Other stocks are kind of like showing less strength. They're a little bit lackluster. But Tesla, of all things, just managed to break out. It's holding up very nicely. Now it's about to test 200 again. So it's showing lots and lots of life. Now, the overall trend in Tesla, I just want to call out one thing. When you zoom out of this, you could see that Tesla quite clearly had this a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. We did manage to get our breakouts to about 207, but now it's forming like a nice accumulation pattern. And there could be another reaccumulation here that might push this thing back up towards the resistance area. So that to me does show some life. And there's potential for Tesla to try to push higher. One thing you'll notice is that Tesla likes cups. So it likes to form cups. Like right here, there's a cup that formed. Excuse me, a cup that formed right here. It came down a little bit, formed a nice cup. Right here, it formed a nice accumulation, nice like cup if you want to call it that. Right here, another cup formed. And right here, you could argue it might be getting ready for another cup to form right here. So there is definitely life and there's potential for this to push even higher now. So in the morning, I did mention that Tesla was showing some weakness alongside SPY as we were down here. And I was worried that we might get a rejection thanks to SPY. But my view changed because bullish news came out and that interfered. And that invalidated this like potential rejection signal that could have been coming. And that's why things have to adjust sometimes. When you're a day trader, guys, I have to admit that I make mistakes and I can be wrong about my predictions because nobody can predict the future perfectly every time. I want to just say that because I could be wrong a lot of the time. Because a lot of the time, I'm a human, I make mistakes, and simultaneously, there could be pieces of news that come out which I can't really predict. So when that happens, it is what it is. We just brush it off and we move on. We just do our best to improve and see what else is going on. And right now, Tesla's trying to break out. So we got this breakout above 198 where we're showing a lot of life. Now we're testing 200 and we're holding up very nicely after consolidating for the last couple of hours. And Tesla's holding up nicely despite the fact that SPY is falling. This shows lots of strength and a big improvement in the share price. Now, as far as Tesla goes, we could also be establishing a change in our trend. We were downtrending since Friday. Now we're trying to balance. We could come down a little lower and continue to break out towards these highs. If we could close above 200, even hold above 200, I can see this thing pushing up to 205 to 207 to fill its gap very, very nicely. And their buyers are still here as good volume is still coming in. So there's a good chance that Tesla could consolidate a little longer and eventually try to break out. So watch resistance at 200 and then 202.5, followed by 205. For support, watch 198 as critical support, followed by this imbalance right here at 196.5 and 195. Overall, Tesla's bullish and it's holding up very, very nicely. For SPY is not looking as great. So I want to mention that I called out a head and shoulders on SPY. I said this earlier today. I also mentioned this yesterday that there's going to be a risk of some downside, right? So we have this left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. We got confirmed downside right here, and we lost 507, so that's very critical. We'll see if we can close above 507 or not. If we do close above it, there's still some hope it holds up. If it doesn't close above 507, there's a very good chance we're going to be making our way down to 505. And I think that's most likely going to happen. If we lose that, 503 is going to be our next target, so there's a very good chance SPY retraces a bit more. So watch for that very, very carefully. To turn bullish, we have to get back above 508 and 510, but looking at the trend, it does look like 505 is coming very soon. So be prepared for some more potential downside. This could act as a little weight for Tesla, but it's not that bad because Tesla and lots of EVs are showing strength. You can see Rivian is up, NIO is up, many other tickers are up. For the triple Q, this is not looking too bad, but not too great either. It's just so because let me show you why. The QQQ is trying to push for 438. It's really struggling to hold above it. It's been just going back and forth and back and forth all day. Kind of boring to trade and watch. But there is a possible head and shoulders like structure. You can even argue it kind of looks like a diamond reversal. I don't really worry about what exactly it is, whatever you want to interpret. I just want to say that it looks like it's topping because the main thing, it has less to do with the pattern, more to do with the liquidity right here that's being swept. So there's going to be a risk of this coming down. There's no confirmation of this thing tanking, but there is a risk of that. Watch resistance at 438. We also have 439.25 followed by 440's resistance levels. We want to get above 439, at least 438 and 439.25 to turn bullish. Otherwise, we're just stuck right here, kind of consolidating. To be bearish, you want to see it lose 436. If we do lose that, there's going to be a risk of 434 and 432 to fill the gap. I think right now it's been just consolidating below 438, showing some not really like weakness in a way. It's just like it's not showing the strength it needs to really break out. So it's kind of stuck. It's just in the middle. So in my opinion, it might just continue to consolidate, but there is a risk of downside to be prepared for. For Nvidia, Nvidia has resistance at 800, and we have support right here in this 790 to 792 area. Now, Nvidia is just trading sideways right now, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth all day. It's been pretty boring. But notice how got this wick right here. Okay. This looks like we could be forming a top. So we'll be watching 790. If we lose this, watch 785 followed by 776. There's going to be a risk of this potentially coming down. So I just want to say that Nvidia is not looking the best. There's going to be a risk of some downside, and we'll see how it goes from here. But otherwise, I think it's going to remain range bound, but there is that risk for you to be prepared for. For the last one I'm going to talk about on trading view is Apple. Apple, in my opinion, is we had an inverse head and shoulders. It's not looking as strong now because it actually lost 181.36. And then it came back above it, but that's actually a sign of weakness. So we have resistance right here, 181.85. Then we have 182.5, 183.5. For support, watch 181.36, followed by 180.75 is going to be another level, and then 180. Very tight levels on Apple, but the trend is still bearish. It's not looking the strongest, and there's going to be a risk of more downside. Please know that every time it hit 178 to 180 for this year, this thing did bounce. So we'll see if it does end up making its way down there. There's a risk of it coming down closer to 180 again. So be careful, guys. Apple's not looking the strongest. For a few more, I'm just going to go over real quick. I just want to call out SoFi. SoFi is showing strength thanks to bullish news. We'll see if we could hit 8.7 and eventually 9. We're in a balance very close to like 9, so I could see it push a little more. It's showing some resilience. Rivian's looking pretty strong, trying to bounce. Got a nice bounce off 10 as we predicted. If it breaks above uh, 10.95, I could be seeing it getting close to 12. So watch for that. For Supermicro, it's just consolidating, not really doing a whole lot. Watch 826 is critical support. Watch resistance at 900, followed by the next level at 940. In my opinion, not looking as strong. It might just remain range bound for now, but there is a risk of it coming down still because if you look at the trend, it has been technically downtrending for the last couple of days. Okay, so be very careful with that. For a couple more, let's talk about AMD. AMD is just like Nvidia, just trading sideways. Watch 175 as support and 178 as resistance. We'll see if this breaks down to 174. We could break down and continue to fall. Besides that, Coinbase is showing some life. This thing is trying to push higher. 200 is coming next. We'll see how this thing reacts to it. I could see 200 very soon. Google is looking kind of bearish. So if this thing continues to sink, watch 138 and even lower levels. And that's pretty much it for now. So I'm going to kind of leave it from here. Just remember that SPY is showing weakness. The QQQ is kind of consolidating, showing some strength. Uh, Apple is a little bit weak. Nvidia is just sideways. QQQ is pretty much sideways, by the way. I think I used the wrong word. I said it's showing strength. I just mean it's sideways. And Tesla, of all things, Tesla is showing a lot of strength as it's been holding up. Right now, don't forget SPY can act as a little anchor for it, kind of push it a little bit lower, but it's not that bad. It's not like tanking or anything like that. It's just coming down a little bit thanks to SPY. I just want to note that it's still showing a lot of strength and there's still more potential for Tesla to push higher. So it's not the end for Tesla. It's still looking very, very nice. All right, guys, that's it for your analysis for now for your intraday update. There's 1 hour left. Take care. Have a great day. And I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours. Thank you for listening. Have a great day and peace out.